Oh, there it is, the ums.
I'm going to have really good outtakes from this. You wear your face on your... You wear your face on your sleeve.
My face on my sleeves. My cufflinks on my toes. What? I feel like I will almost actually just burst into a pile of sparkles. That's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah, and that's happening right now.
I'm
feel like
really
it's
quelling
happening.
it. I'm really quelling
We are definitely going to put your legs on the Instagram.
They look pretty good. They look pretty good.
They
Yeah.
look great.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
I was cutting hair for beer for a while because I wasn't yet 21. You know how it is. Should we delete that? I don't know.
Story?
Yes. Okay. I had 1,000 siblings, so I was always cutting my brother's hair.
I'm just going to laugh my way through this whole
They need a
episode.
haircut every 5 minutes. Saying some nice things to me. I'm going to try not black out.
That's a joke. That was a funny one.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, sorry, what's your question?
Okay, Sarah Bonneville.
Jan Briggs.
Welcome
One
to the
N.
whole shebang.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is 1N. Thank you. How do you want me to introduce you to people?
Wow. The way I tend to introduce my people, myself, perhaps sometimes it's like, hi, my name is Sarah Bonneville. I wear my heart on my face.
I like that because it's not a label. It's who you are, right?
Yeah. Yep. And it's quite uncomfortable actually sometimes because when I'll show up in accountability and when I'll show up at buyer rep meetings and whatever, I'm just like I don't know. Sometimes it almost feels like it's too much me, but I know that all we're ever trying to do is like be authentic, get to be your most authentic self. And oh gosh.
What led you to introducing yourself that way versus any other way?
Yeah. There it is, the ums.
I'm going to have really good outtakes from this.
I feel so much, and I used to think that feeling so much was almost a disability. One of the stories I guess I have about that is that when I was in massage therapy school, getting toward the end, I thought I was going to die.
Like literally die?
I thought I was going to die because it was so, like, I thought I was like absorbing everybody's energy and like didn't know how to deal with my own. And I just like didn't know how to think about energy sort of in the right, what feels like a more right way or a better way now. And I guess it feels to me when I say that, it feels like sort of owning this very almost ridiculous cartoon character that I get to be in the life, because it's really fun to be this character. It's really fun. And I think that that's sort of like an honest and candid way, even though it's quite scripted now, but it feels like a candid way to sort of explain what you're going to get.
Who's the cartoon character?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Well, it's just like this it feels like, I showed up here and was like, okay, I biked here in my sweaty stuff. I'm going to change it in my sit down clothes, my costumes. It's just like, who is the character today? Today's the real estate agent. Tomorrow is the musician or whatever. And I feel like very aware of being this, multidimensional, like forever entity of energy that is embodying different jobs throughout the day. Like, and then there's a costume for those things.
Yeah. And I feel like there is a costume and you embody that being, like your costume is an extension of who you are.
Yeah.
And the bit that I've gotten to know about you or maybe I should say the experience I've had of you is like very consistent. Whether you're in this podcast costume or real estate costume, like you to me feel very consistent.
Oh, that is so nice to hear. I accept this feedback.
Yeah, good job receiving.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So, before we hit record on this, you were like, I don't know why I'm here because
Yeah.
I feel what?
Well, I really look up to you, and
Oh.
the ways that I've known you are like being at the head of the room and like teaching us something, teaching us real estate agents something, and I'm sitting here taking notes, and I feel very much more in the student mode, I guess, in terms of our relationship. And then also, it feels like so fun that that it is this setting. Like I really enjoy podcasts, and just, I don't know, sort of in general, appreciate this medium, video and audio, and just appreciate sort of this opportunity. And also just in my own universe right now, feel sort of on the precipice of like great change again. And that's it's a really uncomfortable feeling. But it's one that I consistently show up for, just in my own like thoughts and the way I want to be in the world, and like changing careers, and I actively engage with change. And this is a new change. This is a new environment, and that feels like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like I came to the She Speaks, and even though I had already told you on the internet, like I don't want to come to that.
She Speaks, for those who don't know, is like a podcast club that I'm doing in our work environment for women. Why didn't you want to come to it? What's wrong with you?
I wanted to come to it, but I also I think what I said to you was like, that sounds awesome, but I don't want another thing on my calendar. And you were like, yeah, okay, sounds good. And then it came up, I was like, I want to go to that. And I wanted to go to it because it seemed like, okay, this is another room that I can be in with more powerful women. Like there's other and more powerful women that are doing the same or similar things that I could learn from. And that's like where I'm trying to be. And that was a really powerful session. Like it was really fun to be there. You were there. I don't know. Everybody else there it was a dream. It was kind of this dreamy 1 hour session of hearing what other people are really
going through. Yeah. I appreciate like what you're saying too about this teacher versus student mode. And I think that it is so, what's the right word? Reciprocal, cyclical. And for what it's worth, when I'm in front of a room, yes, I'm teaching, but I really feel like I'm receiving a lot too. And even your presence and the questions you ask and the way you take in, that is teaching me in the moment. And you can probably imagine, like, you've been in teacher positions before.
Yep.
What that feels like.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So if I can reflect back to you why I think you're here.
Why am I here?
For one, you're just like, because I'm so curious about you, for one. Because you're like a gem of a human and you're so yourself. And as I've gotten to know more about you, you're like you will just spit these truths out kind of out of nowhere. And I'm like, ooh, what's happening? What's happened and what's inside of you, and who are you really? Not that I just haven't gotten a chance to like hear your heart. Like you wear your face on your you wear your face on your sleeve.
My face on my sleeves. My cufflinks on my toes. What?
You wear your heart on your face. And you've got so much. I feel like you're kind of like a genius.
Okay. I accept.
Oh my gosh. I just feel like there's so much in you that I want to hear.
Okay, that's so fun for me. Wow. Sometimes I was telling my friend this the other day. I don't feel like I fit in rooms sometimes. I feel like I am so much energy that I feel like I will almost actually just burst into a pile of sparkles. That's what it feels like sometimes.
And that's happening right now.
I'm really quelling it. I'm really quelling it. I have this small story about that. So I told my friend that I go to this certain gym that will remain unnamed because I'm crazy. That's what I said. And my sweet friend, who is the Sagittarius sun, damn it, he said, no, dude, you don't go there because you're crazy. You go there because you are big energy. And I said, I have never been so seen.
You are big energy. What's this gym like? It's just a lot of big energy people or what? What do you mean?
It's CrossFit.
Oh, yeah.
It's CrossFit.
Why can't you name it?
I don't know. People give me shit.
Why?
I don't know. Because they don't go there. Okay. And the reason I go there is because I thought of it and realized that I had any thought about it other than it exists. I was like, CrossFit is something. And then was like, wait, what? Why do I think that? So I went.
Good for you.
Thanks. And now, wow. And then I did a bunch of squats all winter. And then I took a picture of my legs. And now that's my album cover.
And your legs look hot.
They look really good. Have you seen them? Thanks for saying that.
Have you seen them? We are definitely going to put your legs on the Instagram.
They look pretty good. Yeah.
They look great.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah. Okay. So, give me like a little bit of backstory on you.
Oh, geez.
Because I really don't know. Like, where did you grow up? And do you have siblings? And what was your previous career and stuff?
Cool. So let's see. Where is relevant?
Are you from here?
I was born in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which is technically in 2 states. I love that fact. My dad was in the Army. My mom made 5 more siblings. So I'm one of 6 total.
Are you the first?
I'm the third.
Okay.
And there's 3 gals, 3 boys.
Okay.
The Brady Bunch for real. And we've lived in Minnesota since 96. So since I was 6. So I'm 33.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived in Plymouth. They live in the same house still. And my parents are together still. And some of my siblings live out of state. And what else is, I don't even know what's relevant. But I mean, there's always a lot, right? But one thing that I was reflecting on with a friend earlier, and that I actually called my mom about after our session yesterday. And yesterday we were just talking about like intuition and like how to tend yourself, and I don't know, things like that. But I called my mom because I just wanted to thank her for a couple of specific moments that I could remember where she was inadvertently supporting my my 8-year-old self and 10-year-old self in my like intuition. I was like, I don't want to go there to like a certain instance. Like I was like, I am scared to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. And she was like explaining to my dad, and she just was really helping support that quality.
Like if you feel for any reason that you don't want to go there, then we don't go there.
Yeah. And I don't really want to get too deeply into the story, but I wanted to thank her for that specifically because I really remember those moments of feeling like my mom's got my back. Like she's got me, and that's like so awesome. And both my parents like have always led with an absolute sense of like undying love, even in situations of turmoil and whatever, but they're just always leading with love. And and now they even still, like when I'll have a closing, they'll be like, oh, you did it again? We're so proud of you. And I'll be like, oh, I still care about that.
That still feels good to hear.
That still feels good.
Yeah,
so that foundation is what a gift. So I call them constantly, and I'm thanking them for this gift of like undying like love foundation. Can you believe that?
That's so beautiful.
Yo. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have amazing parents.
Yeah, I have amazing parents.
Siblings that I also presume are amazing.
Yeah. And I didn't realize maybe like how affectionate we all were just growing up, like being very affectionate. Of course, we've all got our stuff.
Until I became really affectionate around other people, and they're like, whoa, you're in my bubble.
They're like, you're really close. You should become a massage therapist.
And so I did.
Yeah. So, I mean, I actually wanted to go to learn how to cut hair because I was cutting hair for beer for a while because I wasn't yet 21. You know how it is. Should we delete that? I don't know.
Story?
Yes. Okay. I had 1,000 siblings, so I was always cutting my brother's hair.
I'm just gonna laugh my way through this whole
They need a
episode.
haircut every 5 minutes, and then I also got a hold of some hair dye. So you better believe I was experimenting on them. Wow. So I was just cutting hair at our house because we were like homeschooled and whatever, just had a big house. And there's also acreage. We had acreage and we spent a lot of time outside. Outside. And I'm a middle child and I was quiet, so I got a lot more alone time.
You were
than they
quiet?
did. Yes.
How did you become unquiet?
Oh God. I went to middle school and was not making friends as like a shy, quiet, sad girl. And I asked my friend Christina and I said, hey, how do you be loud? I like actually asked her that. And then just kind of watched how other like beings, other kids were like making friends and they were like saying words out loud instead of only in their head. I don't know. I just feel like an alien that was like, oh, if you watch what they do and like do that, and then you'll have some friends.
So, but then did you discover like, oh, this feels good and this is actually who I am? Or like what? How did you, because you don't feel like quiet now.
Well, I feel that my like natural tendencies are more about introversion. Like I really need to go be alone for a long time after being very extroverted I feel very practiced in extroversion, but it was like I needed to take a lot of time to like practice being extroverted. And I feel that I've like come into this, perhaps this is like also the character of the cartoon that I'll say. And some people have given me some flack about calling it a cartoon, but I don't know. That's kind of how I'll remember things, is sort of cartoonish, but I wanted to practice being extroverted because it was so hard and sort of draining. And because all I wanted to do was just like make my clothes and like be alone and whatever. And then I don't know, I just like started getting to sports and like realizing like, okay, you have to like talk. Sophie.
You have to talk to people.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I don't know, at some point discovered like I really like one-on-ones. That is like very nourishing, really fun. And I get a lot out of that. And I really like the sense of sort of intimacy. And that also served me really well in massage therapy. And people would come in, gosh, like after doing that for some years, people would just come in to the room, like a new client would walk in and just practically burst into tears immediately. And so that's given me so much.
Why was that? Why do you think why?
Well, I mean, after some years, I was like realizing that I know how to like have a space. I know how to kind of curate the space and set it up so that's, they walk in and they sit here and they're just like in this comfortable, good smelling, their senses are drawn in and they know that they come here and they know they feel good when they leave. And it's always like word of mouth. Like I never advertised for that business.
It has to be more than the aesthetics though.
Well, yeah. So sorry, what's your question?
How did you create a space where people would walk in without knowing you and like burst into tears? And what were the tears about?
That feels a little presumptuous. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. but that would happen.
But it happened.
But
it's
it happened.
Factual.
That's correct. That's correct. How do you even, I don't know. Let's see.
Did you set an intention? Did you like, before they came in, were you in an energetic, like meditative place or something where you were like, I'm going to energetically like create a space right now where I'm open or where I'm full of love or where something, so that when people walk in, they sensed something.
Yes.
We are animals and they sensed something that made them feel safe and like they completely could let their guard down.
Yeah.
What do you think they sensed?
So I don't know if I have a short answer, but it's something like I really enjoyed taking the time to set up the space. And for a long time, I was working out of my 2-bedroom house. So like half of the house is just basically like lobby and studio. And sometimes it would take all day. Like I would take all day and make that place beautiful and like spend hours, spend way too much time like making it really nice and vacuuming and placing the rocks, and like it would just be this kind of like long ritual. Yeah, it was like really a lot of that I would come in with and like do a lot of things that I've learned along the way that like from other body workers or other, I don't know, other women or other people that like do that sort of thing. To set the tone, like set the actual like vibration of the room to be a certain way. And I would like, you know, be fed and like have like met my needs, and I'm like ready in like comfortable clothes, and
you're serving. You're also showing up to like, I'm here to serve this person that's walking through the door.
And like be in this very receptive sort of, like be in receptivity.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how many years did you do that?
I got, and since 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you ran your own practice, and then what was after that for you?
So I did that until 2020, and then there was no touching allowed.
No touchy?
There was no touching allowed. So then I kind of had real estate back here. I was like, I'll do that someday. Because I used to actually do these wellness days at a different brokerage and would just go set up my table there for some hours, like once a year for some years. And then realtors are like real culty people. They're like, you should do it too. And I'd be like, yeah, I should do it too. Yeah. And I'd walk out of there and breathe air for the first time all day and said, oh my gosh, I'm way too busy for that. So I don't know, just was too busy in my budding wellness career. But after there was no touching allowed, I was like, this is a good time to get my real estate license. So I just signed up.
Have you ever considered like stand-up comedy?
Thanks for saying that. I don't know even what the jokes are. I don't even know what the jokes.
But you're so funny, and you like with your body, and like you're doing little things.
This is it. This is me coming out as a stand-up comedian. She's gonna walk away
today like Jen says I'm a genius and a stand-up comedian.
She's saying some nice things to me. I'm gonna try not black out.
That's a joke. That was a funny one.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Do compliments make you hot?
Yeah. And then I can't remember actually what you said. I like might not remember what you said.
Well, good thing we're recording it. So you're going to be able to listen back to it. Okay. So when you got here, you mentioned that you felt like you were in a chrysalis.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold this.
She's holding a rose quartz globe.
This is bigger than a softball, I think.
It is for sure. It's like a grapefruit.
It's really good.
So talk to me about like what the chrysalis, like you're in a chrysalis right now. You feel like you're on the verge of, you're in a transformative phase. Yes. Yeah. Talk to me about it. Like what are you transforming from, and what are you transforming into? Or like, do you know yet?
I'm coming up with an answer and trying to breathe first.
You can do that.
So this year has been so effing cool. I live like a really magical life. Wow. Okay, 3 magical things I could not have foreseen this year. I'm coming back to your coming back to your thing.
Yeah.
But I might not remember to, but I'm going to try.
I'll help you.
So thank you. So 3 things that have happened this year that are unbelievable to me, and now that they've happened, are that one, my partner and I moved to Thailand for the winter.
That's magical.
So we came back February, and so that's first of all, like we talked about doing that a long time ago, but we just like finally did it. Mm-hmm. We did it. We moved. We lived there for 3 months. It was really like, it was good, really good for me, really good for my brain. 2, I bought my first property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, woo woo.
Yo. That's really cool. And 3, I finally put out, like officially went through the process of releasing music into the universe.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to talk about that for a hot minute.
Wow. And I think all 3 of those things to me feel quite unbelievable. And now, like the now me is like, what, are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? You can't do that. But I remember about this time, or no, like it was kind of this time last year. I was talking to Lindsay Frawley, my coach at the time, Lindsay Frawley, whoop. And I was like, hey, I think I have to move to Thailand for 3 months. And she was like, yeah, cool, do it. And I was like, what? Just do it? Whatever. She like then helps me kind of like talk through some of the logistics of like how you would do that with a very thriving real estate business. And I was like, what do you mean that's okay to do? Like, so that's like really nice that there's affirmation. But at that moment, it was also just this like, oh, I've got to change again. Mm-hmm. Which intellectually, leads to better, maybe not even necessarily better, but like you're evolving. You are always evolving. You're always evolving, or you're dead.
That's true.
Or, I mean, there is a moment of reprieve. It's nice to have a moment of reprieve to celebration, perhaps, like a full moon is, I already went here. A full moon is representative of like the celebration and the reprieve that you have from setting the intention 2 weeks ago, or even 6 months ago, depending on how you look at the moon cycle. And it's not when you're working, like you do have a moment of celebration and then you get back to work. But so not always in every second, right? But participating in the evolution in real time, I think requires getting into that, or like allowing ourselves to get into the chrysalis, even though it's like, okay, I have to like die again. Which is not comfortable. It's not a comfortable thing to do.
Let's pause there for a minute. Because I feel like there's so much power in that.
Yes.
This like, I have to die again. And what it means to who is it that wrote Glennon that wrote Untamed. I'm blanking on her name. Anyways, she talks about letting the old things burn, like letting things burn and letting things die, and that is a part of the transformation process. So talk to me if you want to go, if you're willing to go there, about what it means to you to die again.
I have a tiny funny story about that.
Can't wait.
Ready. So let's see. I don't even remember exactly the beginning of this, but I just started having this fascination with that, with sort of I guess I just started thinking about that. Just started thinking about like, okay, I'm not going to live forever. What is it to evolve? Like, what even, I don't know, like what am I for? What is potential? Like, does it matter? Does any of it matter? Because really we're just going to die. Like, you just should eat good food and have nice conversations, and then we're going to die. And then what? And then what? And so I started having this kind of fascination with like trying to learn to let go, because I think just like the process of learning about myself. Like I was starting to go through Saturn return. What's that? Who cares?
Go through what?
It's called
Saturn return. Oh, I've heard of this. Okay, let's not go there yet.
We're not going there. We don't have to go there. But,
okay.
But that's kind of like when I started to think about like me as an adult, and what am I even going to do as an adult, and like what kind of character is this going to be, and like that kind of requires like releasing of, I don't know, juvenile tendencies and like the old ways, and maybe the old ways of how I show up in the world. And the funny story is that I was biking downtown, and I found a funeral flag. It's a bright orange magnetic funeral flag that somebody just sticks on a car while they're like in a funeral procession. And I was like, yep. So I picked it up and I put it in my backpack. So it was sticking out of my backpack. So when I was riding around town, there's just a funeral flag sticking out of my backpack for like a year. I did that for like a year, and then just like had this around with me as this sort of totem to myself that is like, I'm just like having my funeral myself all the time. It did not click with everybody. I'll say that. It's not click with everybody else. But I just was kind of like trying to use my own perspective to come into this knowing or knowledge that I'm actually not going to live forever, at least not in this human form. And that's helping me slow down.
Was the funeral flag meant to be more of a reminder of the final death, or was it also, and because I don't want to put words in your mouth, like, was it also a piece of like, I'm dying daily, like I'm in a chrysalis now, like I'm dying to my old self,
kind of like always dying to your old self, like waking up anew. I don't know. There's kind of like lots of layers to it that I don't think I have a lot of articulate words about, but I just was in this moment trying to like look at death and look at my own fears and address like what can I get over to like become a better or bigger, better version of myself, and like how can I get rid of, you know, like grudges and hurt and pain and triggers and like all of this stuff so that I can like come into a bigger, better version of what it is I could be in the life. And I didn't feel like, I guess, scared of speaking about death. And it just was such a hilarious, like, universal wink when I found this funeral flag. I just was like by myself, like, are you kidding me? This is too funny. Like, that felt like just a joke. Like, I was like, I'm going to carry this joke around. So it just, I don't know. It didn't feel like that serious, but at the same time, like kind of on a daily basis, like, yep, we're going to have, like, what kind of life do I want to live, really? Like, what kind of person and who do I want to show up in the lives? How do I want to show up in the lives of others? And in like a real sort of sentimental, in a real way, I guess it just was a way to ground a little deeper into the moment, honestly. And the cartoon of me just like also loved that it's like a literal funeral flag sticking out of my backpack, which is just too funny.
I think it's great.
It's too funny.
So some of that led to some of the magic that you've experienced in this last year, I'm assuming.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, okay. And so now you're in a chrysalis again. So I'm bringing you back to that.
Yes, thank you. Here we are.
So you are dying again to what?
I don't know.
Well, that's okay not to know.
Oh, smallness. Yep. There continues to be this theme pattern. There's this something that keeps coming up, which is like, I really know, I've talked to Robin Voice about this, bless that woman, that I know how to be small. I know how to be and I also know how to live like a very luxurious life on gross $25,000 a year, which is something I need to discuss by myself for a long time and maybe make some kind of show about.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Because that's what I was able to do with massage therapy. I was like, how do I live this like really cool life where I don't have to work that much and make extremely little money?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just like really know how to do that. I know how to live small, and I know how to be small, and I know how to be really scrappy and like that kind of stuff. And as I've given myself, and as that's what it feels like. That's what it sort of feels like, is this coming into the question I'm carrying around since this last new moon cycle. Yeah, I said it. Is how big can I get? How big can I get? Yo, and there's another quote that I super love that I'm also carrying around right now, which is from the author Elizabeth Winkler, who's a sassy sass. She said, "They will dissolve into the sands of time. So do what you want and forget them."
So is your dying to smallness also requiring you to let go of your care for how people perceive you? Is that what
Yes.
that quote means to you?
Yeah. So I think a lot of it is like when you're in the same place, like it's been really easy for me to feel like I can change when I leave. Like
Mm.
I was able to write this album because I left. Like I went and put myself in a physically different location and I didn't have the normal daily distractions and was like, this is actually all we're doing right now. We're not doing
Mhm.
anything else. This is what we're doing. And I'm not around anything familiar. I'm not around any distractions. I'm not around anything old. And so I was able to kind of like feel what it feels like to be a different frequency, like in actually a different part of the world. There was a woman, I used to work at a coffee shop, and there was this woman that came in who kind of blew my mind. She just like had this field about her. And I was like, who's this? Who is this lady? And she was saying that she moved to like, I don't even remember where it was, but she like, oh yeah, I moved to Argentina and I found my lighting. And I said, I know what you said. I know what you just said. I know what that means. Never heard that before, but was like, that makes total sense. That makes complete sense to me. So there have been locations in the world that I've gone where I felt like more at home or more, I feel so much. And I feel now that I've learned how to use that as the gift rather than feeling like it's a disability.
Yeah, I like that we're coming full circle here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about the album and I want to talk about it through this bit of this lens because you and I have talked about, of course, I got to bring in masculine, feminine framework stuff, right?
Yeah.
And because you have always felt so much, you were a yogi instructor too, yogi
instructor. Yeah, kind of in the universe, like the wellness universe, like did them all.
You did
them all.
Yeah, and you flowed in energy and you were perceptive of energy and you were aware of your energy and all of that is feminine essence, right? And you said something to me, which is what prompted us to set up this conversation around how you realized, like you had learned in real estate that when you created framework, I don't know what how you put it. Do you remember what you said?
Well, yeah, something like I just have been really stunned at utilizing the models of real estate or like the models of business through real estate to create structure in the day and put myself to task instead of like coming up with what I'm going to do that day or simply relying on there to be other appointments. So like in previous career, it's just like, well, I'm working this to this time. I have this many appointments, whatever. And then now it's like, it's really just like what I choose, what I previously choose to like set in the calendar or whatever. And it's with that I've been able to kind of like understand better how to utilize all the energy that I feel like I really have access to and like funnel it into the right places. So the structure of real estate has given me so much because I have and am big energy, but it's been able to help me funnel it and be focused in different areas of life.
So rather than energy just being like stardust chaos, it's like the structure around it is giving it room to birth, create.
So the masculine part has just been like so helpful because I'm thinking about like the scaffolding of a building or the physical walls of this room and how like so much good stuff can happen in here, but it's really like through around, whatever prepositions you need, like inside of the structure that the magic of the feminine creativity can kind of flow in and take up the space, because masculine wants to empty and be the container, and femininity wants to nest and come in and flow into the space. And that's like so awesome. And so I put myself to task. Like I was starting to feel really badly that I had not ever put music out. Because I've been a musician like whole life. And when people ask about this, I was starting to feel really badly that there wasn't ever, like, oh, what do you do? Like, oh, I'm a musician.
Let's see it.
What kind, or what do you play? Like, I don't know. Like there just wasn't anything. There wasn't anything to show for it.
Mhm.
So that was just, I don't know. I think I was feeling some kind of way about that and just needed to.
So you created a structure what was the structure that you created?
Yeah. So my man and I bought tickets to Thailand, and I right away was like, I'm gonna take myself to music camp by myself.
Mhm.
And I had equipment. I packed all my stuff, wanted to go like do that. Like so all of last year, all of 2022, my man and I lived out of a van. We went to bike race to bike race to bike race. And so when we did go buy tickets, move to Thailand, we just like did not do any traveling.
Mhm. Yeah.
We just moved to an apartment and chilled.
Mhm.
And I was like, what's CrossFit? So I started going to CrossFit and then put myself to task every day. Like I'd go to the gym, go get a latte, go get some bakery yummy goodness, go into the music portal.
Mm.
And I lost myself in there every day.
That's wild.
It was so wild. Like it was right away.
That's a lot of losing yourself.
It was right away. And this is something that I feel like this just worked for me because not that any of those circumstances are the point, but that the point was like my whole body was like, yo, this is what we got to do. Pack your music stuff.
You felt it in your body. You were like, I have something that needs to be happening right now.
Yep. And I knew that that's what we had to do. Like, it's sort of like this feeling of now or never, like you have to do this.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. Just the little voice, the little voice. And again, because my whatever upbringing and because of the work, the massage therapy work and it's so much, it's intimacy and it's like all this great stuff of just like being shut up and touch, you shut up and like be in this intimate container with people in their pain. And so it just has given me so much in terms of just like being quiet, being slow, coming into witnessing somebody in their pain has also helped me understand how to witness my own self in a way and just feel into what the messages of the body are in fact communicating. And I feel strongly about this that I get, how do I say this? I mean, I say this about how I got into real estate too, is I just like get an instruction. It's almost visual. It's almost like my head actually like opens up like a flap. It's like so gross. But then an instruction just drops in and it like fills up all of my cells. And I say, what? Go to real estate school. What? Okay. So it's just me. We do it. And then it's never the wrong thing to have done. So I follow those things, and same thing happened with Thailand. I was terrified to go there because my business was rocking and I was like, I can't leave.
Yeah.
But all my cells were like, well, we're gonna.
Yeah.
So then I brought my stuff and just shut up and went to work. And the framework really was loose. But I mean, I had like specific things like, okay, we're going to watch 3 of these digital audio workspace videos a day. And then we're going to implement from this time to this time. And then like the album started to evolve out of the basically very intense structure that I had set for myself. It was not the goal necessarily to like write a song or anything like that, but just like I must learn to create the process, because all of last year I had on my 411 or my to-do list to like write an EP.
Yeah.
And then only really realizing that's like not an attainable, that's not like a thing you put on a list to do. And what I actually needed to do was create a process that's like a fun, enjoyable one.
And you did it.
To return to. Yeah. Yeah. So I finally started learning like the production side and realized that I in fact had been like waiting for like the producer to show up so that I could just like be the singer or whatever. And then actually, no, I'm just going to be the producer.
And like what I've listened to, I'm like, you're a badass producer.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so good.
Thank you.
More people need to hear it.
It's so fun. It is so fun. I'm learning so much.
So fun. So I'm going to ask you some basic questions. What instruments do you play? Because a lot of it is electronic.
It's all electronic. All of it's MIDI. So none of the currently there's one EP out and all of the tracks are all MIDI. I think I didn't play any instruments on there. I don't think I would even claim any instruments that I play right now. I like write music on pianos and guitars. I like understand
Mm-hmm.
chord structures and like understand how to write on them. But when I perform with a guitar or piano, it's like not the highest version.
So a vocalist then would be
I'm a
your
vocalist.
primary. Yeah.
Yeah.
And good.
Mhm.
So good.
Yeah. And that's what I've focused. I mean, that's what it is. And I think I've also realized like part of this Chrysalis, like very uncomfortable, this really uncomfortable thing is that like, I think I have this belief. I don't even think I should say this. But there's just been these kind of like lack beliefs that like just being the vocalist isn't enough.
I mean, recognizing that that's a lack belief in the first, we all have lack beliefs. They're all there. We all have limiting beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't even recognize that they're looping in our subconscious. Like we just don't even know that they're there. So the fact that it's forward and you recognize it, cool. Super cool. And you've walked out of that and into writing an album.
Yep.
And it's birthed and it's out there and it's
out there.
Lovely and it's so fun. It's so good.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. I feel like there's so much I want to peel away, but maybe not. Like as you were talking, I just want to reflect this back to you because my body's lighting up about this. Like as you were talking about your massage therapy and I tried to write down the words that you said, but I can't remember exactly that it was a container that you were able to enter into with people and like with their pain and then to relate to them in their pain and then how that affected you in your relationship to yourself.
What a gift.
Yeah.
What a freaking gift.
Like it's just made like I almost want to cry. I'm just like, what?
Yes.
Like what is that about?
Because when you're witnessed in your pain, oh gosh, I don't even know how to say this right, but I'm gonna try. When I know that I have been witnessed in my pain, when I've sat in a circle with some women before, it doesn't have to be women, but this particular circle at one point was just women. I just remember my mom is sometimes really sick and it's a very intense time for our family. And I was just having some really bad shoulder pain. Like it would wake me up. Like the pain in my body would wake me up, like both shoulders. And it was just like kind of out of nowhere. And I remember sitting in this circle and it was like my turn to talk. So I'm like having this talking piece and I don't even know how long I talked, but I was allowed the time, space to just talk and cry and talk and cry and talk and cry and talk and cry until I was done. Until I was done. And it had probably been like 8 weeks of like such bad shoulder pain that I like would go to wave and be like, oh, never mind. I'll just like, it was so intense. Ooh. And like you wouldn't believe, the next morning after I had a very deep sleep, I woke up with no more shoulder pain. This was like not that long ago. This was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was so helpful. It was so helpful as a whole body reminder, like of the power of being witnessed in your pain. And people think, like in the massage therapy context, people think that they're coming and just receiving. Like they'll say like, fix me kind of thing. And it's not that. It's not that.
What is it? It's
the container that we both set up. Like they choose to come into this container. They choose to invest whatever dollar amount it is or whatever. That's the structure that we say, like, this is how we do, touch therapy or body work or whatever it is, like in this social whatever thing. But really what happens is that they come and they are not on their phone and they lay down and they just get quiet with themselves. And there is some modalities. We do things. I don't just stand there.
I do touch them.
We do that. Yeah. But a lot of the time it's just it's really very gentle and we'll just kind of like, I mean, I'm not like really cranking on people anymore. It's like really, it's myofascial release, it's cranial psychotherapy, it's Reiki, it's like really gentle stuff. And I think so much more of it is that I'm feeling like I'm feeling very center. I'm feeling center in my body. And I can just like open up and be this sort of channel with them. And I do feel a sense, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I do feel like sort of masterful in that. And the reason I think I feel that is because I am such a student in real estate and now also in music, that like being able to step into these different roles and costumes and stuff like this gives me the contrast that feels beneficial for me to understand the sort of gravity, depth, the gift of being able to be present with people in their body pain, which is often also always like emotional pain, psychological pain, physiological, it's like there's so many
where it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
And we talked about this a little bit in our last session, but I think, I mean, your example is like the example of we carry around pain in our bodies and we release emotionally, and then the pain in our bodies sometimes will be gone because you know way better than I do, but like in Western world medicine, it's in the head, and then we don't get into our bodies much, and as much as the Eastern medicine would, right? Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I thought you would know all the things about Eastern medicine.
I'm not a doctor in any context, though I like to pretend.
Can you put that costume on?
I do often joke about being Dr. Bonneville, but that's actually my dad. That's my dad.
Is your dad a doctor?
He is. He's a physician.
How cool is that?
How cool is that?
That's so cool.
It's really cool. Yeah. He's an ER physician. He's the head of the ER in Monticello. He's a boss.
Wow. He is a boss.
Yes. And he's the most yin.
Really?
Yes. Very gentle. He cries at a commercial because it's very emotional. He's good. He's good. Yeah. Yeah. My parents are great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're really great.
So lovely. Okay. What else do you feel is on your heart and mind? What do the people, don't be modest right now. I'm not talking about just like bragging about yourself, but I'm like, you are full. Like I feel like we've just scratched the surface of what's happening in your mind, body, spirit.
Yeah.
We literally have just like barely scratched it.
Hold this some more.
Hold it some more. Like, if you're a channel right now for the people that are listening to this, what is it that needs to be said?
There's an artist who says this really great phrase, which is, we need your art. We need it.
Tell me more about that.
I feel so obsessed with asking everybody that I ever talk to about like, what do you create? What are you creating? What do you create? What are you creating? Everybody has the creator. You're the creator. I'm the creator. You're the creator. And a lot of the time that gets expressed as artist. Not everybody feels that they identify with the word artist, but there is creation. There is creator. And perhaps that's expressed as being a mom. That's expressed greatly as being the good cook. Or maybe you are a painter, or maybe you make houses, make rooms. I don't know. Yeah. But there is the creator. There is the creator. And what I feel like I feel very focused on is locating what that is in people in the individual conversations that I'm having, because everybody so far that I'm talking to about that feels their energy really changes when they're like,
Mm.
oh, well, let me tell you about it, and it's so fun. It's so fun because it's like, sure, like, what's your job and like, what are your kids' names and stuff like that, but which are important things. Those are important things. And the question I guess I used to ask is something like, what do you like to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times people will be like, what do you mean? And they're like, what do you mean? What do I like? And I was like, I don't know how to be any more direct. What do you like? Your shoes? Like, do you like comedy? Like, what? I don't know. I was trying to figure out what people like instead of what do you do for your job? Because I thought that was a stupid question. But I have learned to like sort of work my way into that. A little more nuanced maybe. But yeah, like I think the sort of question is something like that. Like, what is the creator in you?
Mm.
Like, I think everybody does know. And I think there's so much more power in that than...
I was just thinking that's such a powerful question, but let's talk about why it's powerful.
Why is it powerful?
I mean, I have answers. I think but I also want to hear your answers. I'll tell you
I'm
why
trying to
that's
be on your show. This is your show.
I'll tell you why I think that's powerful to me. You ask it again. Ask me again.
Why is it? Why is it important for individuals to understand their version of being the creator?
It's very news anchory of you.
I don't know.
The power in that question to me is like, because it's chrysalis questions, it's transformation, it's evolution, it's rebirth, it's forward motion, it's old things dying. It's like I don't know, the creation to me does this.
Yeah.
Like it moves. And so because when you said, when I ask people a question, their energy shifts.
Yeah.
Then my mind was like, well, why is their energy shifting? What is it about that question that's lighting them up and causing them to shift?
I think one of the reasons is it feels like it's taken me a long time to figure out how to ask this question, because it's sort of like, who are you? Who are you really? But it's sort of like, that's almost like too direct. And then the what do you like is too confusing for people. And so now it's like, it takes a while to get to like, what are you creating? Or like, what do you like creating, or something like that? It's not like a question. But when I'm able to get close enough and they like say something that's like, oh, and I really like to, the pots that I've been working on or whatever, I'll ask more about the pots, or ask more about the, I don't know, the kiln. And then, because people want to talk about it. People want to talk about what they're excited about.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what helps kind of shift the energy, because people are excited about stuff and they might not even know that they're excited about it. Because who's excited about just like, anyway, I don't know what like exactly the question is, because it's not really like the one, but getting close to people. I think I like to get close. I like closeness. I like intimacy. I like to be able to get close enough to be sort of let in to what that is, and like love it, like be affectionate toward what it is that's like lighting them up, because this has also been helpful for me. I don't need to even like the art, or I don't even need to like, you know what I mean? Like, it just matters that you're doing it. Like the creation.
Why does it matter? When you said we need your art, why does it matter?
Why does it matter?
That people are putting their creation out.
I think it matters because they are participating in their own evolution in real time. That's what I think you were kind of saying earlier. And that's a phrase that I keep hearing myself say, is like, this is participating in the evolutionary process in real time. Like, it's real time and it's fast. Like life is fast.
Do you mean the big evolutionary process?
I just mean like your personal evolution, which ultimately leads to like the bigger one, which is like the micro evolution, I guess, like in your daily life. and like how you've changed over the last couple of years and how I feel like I've changed in the last year, 2, 3, whatever. And participating in that, bringing more light, bringing more like actual light, like in to your cells. Oh, I have a lot to say about that, but bringing more consciousness into it, I think also kind of brings you more perhaps into the moment of it. And then you're able to time travel because your senses are awake to when you're making the nice stew or whatever. And you're like, wow, I just love how this cutting board feels. And I love how it smells in this room. And I love how this rug feels on my feet. And what, you're like really drawn into this like magical moment of just like making soup or whatever. But you're like actually engaged with the creator in that moment, or maybe you're not. But if you are, you're able to remember it more like from these sort of sense-based memories. And I think you're able to then, I don't know, like access a little bit more magic. And maybe that's just it, is that I really like the idea of living this very magical life. And it's pretty sense bound, like being in the senses, like in the moment of like, this chair feels really nice. And I really wanted to wear my sit down shoes, even though, so it's some silliness too. But I think in a real way, like engaging with what is it that you want to be doing, what's pulling you. And hunger in this metaphor or this story of the soup or whatever is like, I'm hungry. What's like a fun and beautiful, enjoyable way for me to like, solve that issue of hunger or whatever, and that's also creator energy. So I've lost the question, but I could keep rambling.
No, it's great. I've meandered. I think a lot of people, we were a part of a conversation recently where it was kind of brought to light that I think a good number of people don't know what they like, which is why that question of what do you like to do or people are like, I don't know, because I've been disembodied. I've been doing things that I don't like to do for somebody else. I don't know what I like anymore. Or like the question I started asking people is like, well, what lights you up? And people would be like, what? I don't know. And that wasn't a good question, but this question gets at that. What do you, because if we're creating anything, if we're taking the time, effort, and energy to create something, it's something that lights us up.
Yeah.
And I think more of us probably could benefit from pausing and asking that question. And if I'm not creating anything, what would I like to create?
Yeah.
Like what, and to kind of come back around to the question that I posed to you, I just think that not only is it so good for self, but the reason why I asked, like, do you mean big evolution or like personal evolution, is because as you were sharing that, I'm like, oh yeah, like we evolve individually. That is the way the world changes.
Yeah.
And so as we're leaning into being, what did you say? Bigger, better,
bigger, better, better,
bigger, better, better. Like the everything, I know it's so cliche, but it just like makes the world a better place.
Sure does.
Michael Jackson, right?
Sure does.
Yeah. Okay.
I
feel like we've talked a lot.
We got like 6 more hours, right?
Good things. We have at least 6 more hours ready. Do you need to go pee? Just kidding. Because you can't, because we're not stopping.
We're stuck. We're stuck here.
Stuck here forever.
I'm not mad about it. It's a nice room.
Is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about?
No, I guess not in particular. It's just like such a cool opportunity to come here and talk with you like this. And for you.
You're really good at looking at the camera, by the way. I'm like,
oh girl, I love a microphone.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, thanks so much for this. It's so fun.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your heart. Thank you for having the courage to die.
I mean, I wouldn't say I have that, but I got a funeral flag.
Die daily. Die daily is what I mean. And thank you for showing up as yourself. It's a gift to the world. Okay. Goodbye.
I love you.
I love you too. Do you love me or them?
I love you and I love you.
Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.